fallen on hard times as of late. If he can come out of this fight unscathed and even look impressive, he'll be in line for another world title shot. If not, it could be the end of the line for Rolly Romero.
Studying these guys, I think stylistically, the bad habits and the bad technique that Rolly Romero shows when he comes forward with his power is going to probably fall into the hands of Manuel Jaimes, who fights pretty good. He squares up a little bit, he throws the right punches that can line up nicely with the chin up in the air for Romero.
Round one underway. This one's scheduled for 10. Rolly Romero, as we mentioned, lost his WBA 140-pound title to Isaac Cruz last time out. Jaimes coming off a victory over Momo Romero, the faded former champion. Was an 8-round unanimous decision over him back in July. And Jaimes historically has been a super high output guy, Sergio. He's a guy who can touch somewhere between 75 and 100 punches per round. So that may be something that Romero is going to have to contend with here tonight. He's going to have to stymie that kind of output.
No, he is, and the way he's going to do that is by moving and jabbing. Right now, I like the fact that Romero's actually not getting as aggressive. I thought he's going to come out stronger and look for the knockout, not respecting Jaimes. Right now, I like what I'm seeing so far from Romero. The thing about Jaimes is, like, he'll square up, he'll throw the right hook, and he'll throw it from a southpaw stance. That's a dangerous punch whenever you have someone that keeps their head up in the air. So Romero, once he starts getting active, shots like that came up short for Jaimes, he's going to be vulnerable with.
Bit of a calmer demeanor here from Romero in the early going, and Chris, we've kind of seen that from Rolly all fight week long. Calm demeanor is one way to put it. He has been positively catatonic all week long. A really very low-key version of Rolly Romero, who has been kind of a showman in the past. Remember the Gervonta Davis fight from a couple of years ago? He did his part in selling that fight, but over the last couple of days, I don't use the word indifferent to describe Rolly Romero about this fight.
I got you. I'll get knocked out. Hurt your pride. That's what happened here with Romero. His times to shine, he came up short. You got to give it to him. He comes to fight, he promotes a good fight. But when it comes down to it, you still have to win. And when you're getting stopped on the big stage by fighters like Pitbull and Tank Davis, guys like Jaimes, you should be able to take care of.
Effective jab there from Jaimes a moment ago. Leaps in and tries to get busy on the inside. Romero said he spent the entirety of his layoff just watching Bruce Lee movies. And you see the Bruce Lee inspired kit that he's wearing here tonight.
Yeah, he's going to need a jab, a nice jab. He has double and triple the jab for Romero. Jaimes has this quirky style. If you notice, he has pretty decent footwork. He goes in and out, but his upper body move is pretty good. I like what I'm seeing. Look, that's what I mean right there, where he squares up.
Closing moments of the opening round as we are underway here at T-Mobile Arena.
The only place to buy your new Mercedes-Benz this September is direct from Mercedes-Benz. Whether you choose petrol or diesel, electric, or the flexibility of plug-in hybrid, any choice is the perfect one. Find yours in store or online today. And right now, the A-Class range is available from £299 a month. Book your extended test drive today.
Está listo, pero no puede tirar la derecha sin tirar la mano izquierda. Ok, siempre hace un toquecito con la mano izquierda para meterle la derecha. Seconds out. Rolly, ese es tuyo.
Round two underway. Our opening contest here between Rolly Romero and Manuel Jaimes. Rolly Romero in his second fight with his new coach, the legendary Ismael Falas, which might have seemed like a bit of an odd pairing at first, but of course, as we mentioned, Rolly Romero's father, a very successful amateur coming up in the Cuban amateur system. Romero previously trained with Cromwell Gordon. A good left hand there by Romero, backed up Jaimes.
I like the pair up with Ismael Salas. When it comes to the Cuban school of boxing, and Romero's going to have more of a career, you know, extend his career, because getting stopped like that, you can't just be aggressive looking for power. You're gonna need more. And you can see it in the corner. They want more jabs. They want him to fight at distance, keep that range, and don't give that up.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. You know, Gordon, his former trainer, had a different take on that. He said that whoever gets him next, I hope they don't try to change him. Essentially saying that Rolly's strengths are that he could be a little bit unorthodox, that he could be physical, that adding refinement would take away what makes him great.
No way, man. No way. Look, I was unorthodox, but there comes a time when that's not going to work. I was going to win a championship against Vernon Forrest being an unorthodox. I needed a jab, and that's what they want from Romero. In the high level, it's the jab that controls things, it dictates the pace, and it keeps you safe technique-wise.
Big right hand for Romero, chopping down on Jaimes there a moment ago. And what we are seeing here is what Ismael Salas said the key would be for Romero here tonight, an active lead hand, giving Jaimes different looks with what he's putting out there.
Yeah, but it has to be more than one jab. Right now, Romero's not doubling or tripling the jab. He's not even dictating the rhythm of the fight with that one jab. Jaimes is walking through it just with upper body movement and looking for that overhand right.
Yeah, and I agree with what Sergio was saying. Like, the idea that you don't want to change someone or what made someone great implies that someone was great to begin with. And the reality is, you know, Rolly Romero got a questionable decision against Jackson Marinez a few years ago, a questionable stoppage in that fight against Ismael Barroso 2 fights ago. So, in order to maintain his place at the top level, I think he does need to refine his game and add those layers you were talking about.
Closing in on the final 30 seconds of round 2. Romero jabbing to the body there a moment ago, getting a little bit more active with that lead hand as Jaimes leaps in with a left hook that just misses there. That's the question for Jaimes is, does he have the power to impact and change the course of this fight? Because Romero is an open target. That chin is still very much up in the air. You know, I got 11 knockouts on the resume of Jaimes, but I wouldn't consider him a power puncher at this weight class.
He's a strong puncher, he's not a power puncher, but whenever you have someone as reckless and as aggressive, you know, the power's going to be there.
Is it me or is work not working? At least not the way it could work. Your people are very busy work. You might be thinking, can AI make it all work? It can. On the ServiceNow platform, AI transforms your entire business. Because when your people work better, everything works better. So, let's get to work.
Get yourself over here. Yeah, he's super nice.
He thinks he can hurt you now, so he's gonna fucking take more risks. Okay? You gotta make him pay when he's coming in, man. Alright? Let your fucking hands go a little bit. But move when you're done. You know, don't fucking stand up like crazy.
You're watching it, okay?
As round 3 is set to begin, you see a different Salas in the corner of Manuel Jaimes. That's Steve Salas from Stockton, California. And Manuel Jaimes probably wouldn't be here tonight if it weren't for a 2-for-1 deal, so to speak, that Salas brokered early in his career. Salas made a deal with Jaimes' now promoter that if he put Jaimes on the card that night in Stockton, California, that he would rent the ring to him for $500. So he said, well, I'll give you the ring for $500, but you have to put my kid on the card. He won that night with a second-round TKO, and he got a promoter out of it as well. They've been together since then, and here Jaimes is on a Canelo Alvarez undercard. Nice counter shot there from Romero, and Jaimes buckled by that one and wobbled against the ropes.
And that was a punch that Ismael Salas wanted. He wanted that right uppercut. It's a dangerous punch to throw, but when you gamble and it lands, they can do damage like we saw right there.
And this is where Romero can't smother his punches here. He did have Jaimes hurt on that last exchange. Got to be able to keep a little bit of distance so he can land that right hand again.
Yeah, the thing about uppercuts, your opponent won't see it coming, but lead uppercuts, like Romero did right there, that's very dangerous. You normally want to throw that on the inside, or at least set it up with jabs. There he did it, he'll do it again.
Hip shot there and got through. Now things get a little bit messy on the inside, which traditionally is where Jaimes can thrive. But Romero, that physical strength, the judo background sometimes comes into play. When things get messy, Romero can do pretty well on the inside as well.
that Jaimes, every time Romero throws a jab, he comes over the top. That's their game plan. They want to land that Newton shot, man. I think it'll serve him right for Jaimes to start jabbing to the chest and to the body to fool and try to lure in Romero to get reckless with that right hand. I like the feints that Rolly's doing with his feet, but I don't like the jabs. The lack of jabs. I got you. More jabs from Rolly Romero, and then you can add those foot feints. Get Jaimes to bite off guard, square up, and then land that uppercut.
That's right hand over the top there from Jaimes. Jaimes recovering well. Looked like he might be in serious trouble, or might have been in serious trouble early in this round. Romero wasn't particularly eager to pounce on him in that moment. And Jaimes worked his way back into this fight. 10 seconds of round 3. Best round of the fight thus far for Rolly Romero. First flashes of the Rolly Romero power. Time.
See, look, there's that lead right uppercut, and yes, he lands a clean right hand to the chin. But notice how Rolly's chin was up in the air. He was exposed. He needs to tuck that chin in. There's like an elbow coming around the guard on the inside fighting to get a watch out.
Usted tú lo matas con el open, levántalo por dentro y sigue como va a hacer. No forme lío, pero sí tiene que ganar, asegurarte que tú le estás ganando los asaltos, ¿ok? Ahora límpiate los guantes conmigo.
Keep it clean, all right? Keep it clean. It's professional, all right? Let's do it.
Round 4 begins. Hear the officials' admonishment, both fighters, to keep it clean.
You know, we talked about Rolly's jab and the need for him to stick that out there more often. The same way about Jaimes as well. He doesn't want to get into exchanges with Rolly Romero. That's how Romero finds success. But Romero is open, you know, leaving that chin upright, open to that jab. He's just be trying to flick it out there and try to land it as a scoring shot.
I agree, and you know, you get a rhythm doing that as well. But you gotta alternate it with speed and with power. You can't just be, you know, throwing it out there because you will get time.
Well, Jaimes is kind of a lunging jab, so it's not really with a disciplined, straight point combat.
And that's why he's pushing his power. You know, you said it earlier, he has 11 knockouts and 16 wins. He's not a power puncher, but he can catch you coming in too strong. And that's why I think, you know, Romero does wrong. And sometimes he punches too aggressively, looking for his target. But for this one, every time he throws a punch, he backs up. He steps back looking for a counter.
Yeah, Chris, and that lunging jab you're talking about from Jaimes, that works for volume punchers to get them to the inside if they're doing the work there, but Jaimes has not been able to do that with any regularity thus far.
No, he hasn't. It does work on a much lower level, which is what we've seen Jaimes in up until this point. 8-round types of fights. Got that win, as you mentioned, against Jonathan Romero, but that's a much more favored version of that fighter. He's never been at this kind of world championship level. I think we're seeing some of the reasons why.
Romero missing with that left hook over the top. Romero's described himself as the hardest hitter in this weight class and has even teased the possibility of moving up as high as 154 in the coming years. Short right hand on the inside there from Romero.
Romero is one of the bigger punchers at 140, but I think he lost faith a little bit in his power. I could see it in this fight, just 4 rounds in. You know, the power, you know, he's not really loading up like he normally does, even though he's going to end up right there in the first 2 shots.
That's interesting, Sergio, because I think a lot of people viewed that loss to Isaac Cruz as a possible kind of humbling of Rolly Romero. Do you see that reflected in how he's behaving in the ring right now?
Not only that, but even in the, you know, when he had his hands full of Barroso, you know, that's what happens whenever you get, that's what happens when you get your chin checked. You know, power punchers start thinking about getting hurt, instead of going out there and doing the hurt. just notice one thing. Every time Romero jabs, he steps back. He didn't do that before. So he jabs and he waits for the counter like he's a little shook of getting hit with something over the top.
He also is leaving himself. When he throws that rear uppercut. If Jaimes can time it right, left hook probably worked pretty well.
Almost having a mistake. And there, that did connect from Jaimes a moment ago. Shot the fight thus far from Jaimes, and you hear him wooing all the way back to the stool.
Here we look back at the last fight for Rolly Romero against Isaac Cruz, a fight that Isaac Cruz largely controlled from start to finish. Romero never actually officially went down in this fight, but there you see the first round. He was on ice skates, and Cruz just kept the pressure on all throughout. Look, we saw with Isaac Cruz against Rayo Valenzuela, you have to be able to box a fighter like that. Romero, at this point, is only comfortable in brawling. That's something that needs to change if he's going to regain his place at a top level.
And the beautiful thing that Cruz does really well, he's one of the best short fighters, compact, strong fighters, that knows how to punch in between the shots. That's something that's really bad for a fighter that doesn't have good technique, that uses shots like Romero. And that's the reason Pitbull was able to have so much success in this fight.
Round 5 underway. Let's see if Manuel Jaimes can capitalize on that momentum from the end of round 4. A big right hand connected. And Jaimes, again, we've talked about the volume that we've seen out of him in the past. He's a momentum fighter. And when he gets rolling downhill, he's described himself as a bumblebee, kind of a pest who's always buzzing around you. And perhaps we'll start to see that materialize now.
That's how I describe you, Sergio.
You know what? I knew that was coming, and guess what? You're right. You gotta be a little pesky. You gotta. When you don't have the big power, and you don't have, that eraser with that big right hand, you gotta frustrate opponents, and you do that with footwork, with angles, with making the miss, head movement, defense. Jaimes has a little bit of that. I'm not saying he's a great boxer out there, but he does do some quirky things that are pretty clever in there.
Couple big hooks connected there from Romero. Jaimes rolled with them decently, and Jaimes trying to get back on top of Romero's chest.
I say it all the time, the way you beat polished fighters and boxers and perfection, I'm not saying Rolly's one of them, but the way you beat orthodox fighters is by being unorthodox. Jaimes does that pretty well. When he gets on the inside, he kind of squares up, turns southpaw, he loops his shots. That could actually work to his benefit with the right opponent.
Stiff jab there from Jaimes, getting there before Romero's.
Jaimes straight punches, nothing better than the hooking shots of Romero.
I've seen Rolly the last couple of exchanges try to time that left hook as Jaimes comes in.
Exploding right hand there from Romero. Jaimes got in there with a shot of his own.
Romero stopped foot feinting. So now, Jaimes is not thinking twice of going to the front door and attacking. And that's the reason that, the confidence is swaying to the favor of Jaimes. Foot feints do a lot. Upper body foot feints, you make your opponent think of what you're going to do. You can't just let him come in throwing shots like that.
Shot there from Jaimes, a good left hook. Romero comes back with one of his own, a clubbing right hand. Action really picking up here in the 5th round.
Talking to Robert Garcia earlier today about Jaimes, spent some time at his gym working on his sparring, great sparring in that Robert Garcia Boxing Academy. Was the one thing he said about Jaimes, that this kid is in great shape. Robert Garcia earlier today about Jaimes, spent some time. Robert Garcia earlier today about Jaimes.
Romero. You can see it. Look how he's standing. His eyes is waiting to counter Jaimes once he can't get in.
Telegraph that as well.
Oh, does he?
I got you.
High guard by Jaimes, stalking Romero. Romero ready to unload the right hand face.
Stop. Gotcha. There you go.
Down two to the body by Romero.
Yeah, you can't overthink here, Romero. You gotta let those punches go.
Exactly. He's not. Jaimes is not even throwing a jab. He's even feeling a jab out there. You got to keep that left hand busy against Romero.
He's not keeping Romero busy. But I don't know why Romero's not letting those punches go.
Well, he's looking for the perfect couple shots. Romero is. Just hanging back, waiting for Jaimes to do something and make it a nice uppercut.
Jaimes now marching forward, and the veteran Romero wrapping him up. Less than a minute left here in the sixth. Place uppercut by Romero. Look, Jaimes walked right into it.
That was a sneaky little uppercut by Romero. And that's what he's doing. He's just pot-shotting Jaimes right now and winning the fight.
The referee Hoyle warning him to stop holding.
You're right. Someone's got to take control of this fight, and it's not happening. It's not. Oh, beautiful uppercut right there from Romero, but it's going to happen from either side. Yeah.
They're waiting for the other to throw, and it's a standstill here. Just 28 punches thrown for Romero, 32 for Jaimes. Both of them landing in single digits in the round. So, if you missed the prelims on Prime earlier, well, you missed some terrific action. And Gio Lopez, an undefeated prospect on the rise, taking on another prospect in Ricky Medina Jr., but Medina Jr. already losing twice, went down, and Lopez picks up the victory, overcoming the first cut of his career, remains undefeated. And we were anticipating fistic fireworks between Roy Monvilla and Ricardo Salas, and that's exactly what we got. Villa looking to bounce back from the knockout loss to Duran Ennis. He went down to Salas, and Salas pulls off the upset win, and then the return of Stephen Fulton after getting knocked out by Naoya Inoue, losing his unified 122-pound titles. He got knocked down for the third time in his career by Carlos Castro. But Fulton, in his first fight at featherweight, manages to eke out the split decision, had the more eye-catching shots, but wow, a tough night for Fulton at 126, and he'll look to try to make more damage in a new division as Rolly Romero, just like Fulton, looking to bounce back after a KO loss in this one. Round number 7 against Manuel Jaimes, whose offense has been anything other than high octane or high volume.
It's almost non-existent, to tell you the truth. And when he does have an offense going, he's not landing cleanly. And it's really Romero that's landing the hard shots.
He just missed with that right hand. Nice lead left hook, short combat left hook. Romero missed with that one, but the check left hook lands, and then just pushes that right hand in the face of Jaimes.
I like how he keeps trying with that left Romero. He's going to let.
And you can see Jaimes, no range management. Overextended on the jab.
Yeah,
and over the knee. Front foot.
There's the feint.
And the left hook counter upstairs is there for Romero, the way Jaimes had the high guard, but as soon as he moves forward, the hands go down.
Exactly. Well, he did last round. He landed 2 of them early in the round and then gave it up.
Nice counter right by Romero.
I got you.
Jaimes just looking to smother his offense, which you cannot do. It's got to be in that danger zone, that mid-range. He's got the wingspan hand. He's got the reach advantage. Needs to try to make it count.
He's got to set up something. He's got to start, obviously, with the fundamentals. So jab. And the right hand. Once you're in the inside, work the body.
Double jab for Romero. Joe, you mentioned it. Jaimes had just muted in his offense. Compared to what we've seen on tape.
Exactly. If I was in Romero's corner, I'd be kind of relieved and happy at the same time that I got a guy that's underperforming against my guy.
Yeah,
The biggest stage of his career for Manuel Jaimes.
but if you have the opponent underperforming in front of you, you want to go out there and show up, man. You got to, that's Romero's not doing that.
Jaimes' Las Vegas debut. Romero's growing and he raised here. He's 9-1 in Vegas with 8 knockouts. The loss, of course, coming in the last fight to Isaac Cruz. Just over 30 seconds left here in the 7th, and there's been a lot more clinching than there's been sustained offense in this fight.
Yeah, Romero's with the one with the name, the loud mouth. He's got to back it up.
Well, Romero just threw a right hand left uppercut that missed completely, and Jaimes didn't even look to counter it. He was wide open for us. And so this is the problem with Jaimes right now. He's capitalizing on the mistakes and the open availability of Romero's defense.
¿A quién le metiste uno abajo cuando él estaba aquí? You gave him a nice uppercut. ¿Tú no viste que le hizo? You noticed? Oh, you got him with the body shot. You said, you heard him. The 1-2, the straight right hand. The uppercut in the inside is going in. Easy. Remember we practiced that? The uppercut and then the overhand right. You good, Rolly? Clean yourself. Clean yourself. Ponte vivo, nada más lo único que quiero, Rolly. Once you alert, wait.
This is round number 8, and remember in his last fight against Isaac Cruz, Romero was deducted a point for holding before ultimately being stopped. So we're seeing a lot of it here being exchanged by both fighters, but you have to be careful here because the referee did give him a long warning. He was deducted a point against Cruz, and Romero has to be careful, as does Jaimes when they clash. And Romero looking to create some moments from that distance.
That distance and that uppercut that the corner was asking for, and it's there.
Yeah, he's thrown a 5 times since he came out.
And it's just wild to watch it. Not aesthetically pleasing. Aesthetically.
Welcome to the Romero Show.
Well, I think we were expecting more fights, to be quite honest with you. I think we got the Rolly Romero we expected. Jaimes that we thought we were going to get.
I get it, Joe. But exactly, yeah. I know that this is the style he plays. But this is a guy that talks too much.
Player, he wants to be a major star.
He's got to show it.
He's taking on a guy who's moving up in weight. First fight in Vegas, first scheduled 10-round fight, and here we go. Minute 45 left in the 8th. Still so much at stake here in this fight. Very close in terms of the stats.
There it is, the inside body shots, the punching from Romero. Where's the uppercut?
Just for the uppercut and hook right.
Wild right hand from Romero misses. But Jaimes is absolutely unable to do anything. Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. It's like, okay, you got this fight. What are you doing with it?
Styles made fights. This one's uglier than a bowling shoe hit.
Any of the worthwhile shots that are landing are being thrown by Romero, period. It may not be pretty, and it isn't. It's awkward. It's not pretty, but Romero is winning this fight.
Yes.
Says you. Wait till the 3 judges. I understand what you're saying. You can never, ever make a declarative statement in combat sports until we get, accountability from the judges to really help our sport out.
I'm going to go on the win and say I'm going to this one.
It's heating up, guys.
30 seconds, and here comes Jaimes.
Stop! I got you. There we go.
Nice uppercut on the inside. Remember, gets tagged by Jaimes, who's finally trying to get going offensively with 15 seconds left in the 8th. Lands the left, misses with the left hook, does Romero. Now they're in head-to-head. They've got to try to find a way to
I got you. I say, stop. Rolly, stop punching. Stop punching.
Die.
Toma aire, toma aire.
Catch some air. Catch some air.
Toma aire. ¿Cómo estamos, Rolly?
How you feeling, Rolly?
Here's a little touch jab, straight right hand,
Right through the guard.
and Hymas comes back, but you know he's not landing.
Yeah. But when he tries, he lands. And he needs to land and he needs to throw his punches Hymas, but he doesn't.
Left in this fight.
Yeah, that was the first clean shot that I've really seen Hymas, especially at left.
An ultimate round and Hymas off to an aggressive start, but immediately again into close quarters. And Romero fights out, lands it right on the exit. Right uppercut by Romero, but again, hands are down. He's leaving himself exposed. Hymas unable to get anything going as again it ends in a headlock.
Here we go.
Nice jab right there from Romero.
Yeah, for the most part, you know, Romero's just been rolling with the punches, tying them up.
Rolling with the punches. I like that.
Need to see more, guys. Kicking off a pay-per-view here. Las Vegas Mexican Independence Day weekend. Humbled in defeat. Knocked out by Isaac Cruz. Getting a gift from Ismael Barroso. Dropped by Barroso. Knocked out by Davis.
And here he is tonight.
There he is. Opening up a pay-per-view. Trying to rehabilitate his career against a guy in Manuel Hymas who is fighting in Vegas for the first time, fighting in his first scheduled 10-round fight. Romero needs to prove that he's in a different class.
I truly understand your point, Laura, and yes, he does.
And we got the 209 being represented. That's Diaz country, Stockton, California, of Manuel Hymas. No Stockton slapping here, though. Nicely left hook by Romero, but
Han Mondeo to be
Yeah, and look, if I'm in the corner right now, really, I go, look, this is not a sterling performance by either guy necessarily, but Rolly's the one who's been landing the hard shots. I'd be pushing for a knockout for Rolly, to tell you the truth. Kind of a little bit of redemption here.
Of course, then not only in this last round, he should be looking for that off fight, but he didn't.
Well, he tried to land some big hard shots. He would have taken a knockout if he could have, but Hymas wasn't really cooperating with him there. He absorbed the punishment pretty well.
right hand, right uppercut, left hook, three-punch combination by Romero. Romero initiates the attack again, lead right, left uppercut, and Hymas just bull rushes him without throwing a punch. There's a right uppercut on the inside by Hymas, but almost got caught with a left uppercut from Romero.
Yeah, that landed that. Body shot landed by Romero. Romero's really sitting down and trying to knock him out. He's really loading up on his punches.
And he threw 55 punches in this round, did Romero.
Romero's bleeding from the
Fly.
Last round coming up. Last round. 10 on 10. The final round coming up.
That's it, bro. You got 3 minutes to take this guy out, dude. Okay? That's your only option here. Don't get tied up with him, okay? You're messing up. If you can get out of it, give yourself just enough room and let your hands go right away. Pick him up with uppercuts if he's leaning down, but you can't afford to spend this round hugging him, okay?
No te quiero ver haciendo mierda, Cedric.
I don't want you doing the shit. You gotta do something, Broly.
Ay, toma aire. Oye, Lenny, yo tengo que irme con Lara. Ahora el que le cae se queda contigo.
gotta go with Naka now. The coach is gonna stay here with you, okay?
So Salas getting Erislandy Lara ready for his middleweight title defense against Danny Garcia coming up. But here, we've got the 10th and final round. I gotta say, guys, looking at Jaimes in his corner, open mouth, heavy breathing. This is the first time he's been in the schedule for 10. Never been past Rowdy. I think the gas tank is empty. I got you.
And when you see an opponent like that, you want to get him out. Especially if you're Romero, you got the name, you fought bigger fighters, bigger.
He's lunging in,
but he's not doing any of that.
Opening subjective to these uppercuts. The wrist leaning in out of fatigue. And when you get tired, you start making more and more mistakes.
And the corner was pushing for a knockout. They told him you're way behind. You need a knockout on this. But I don't think the kid believed in it when he was listening to him.
No, he told me he was just one tired fighter. And again, first time at 140, first time in the 10th round. And according to unofficial score, Joe Goosen, Jaimes needs the knockout to win this fight. We've seen stranger things happen. Remember John Molly,
Bulldog choke.
against Mickey Bay here in Las Vegas, and in the 10th round, knockout.
She's out.
So it can happen, right? There have been miracles in boxing, but Jaimes needs a big one here. And Romero, I guess for him, looking to just, wanting to get back to the win. And for a guy like Romero, a win, no matter how it comes, keeps him in the news. And at 140 pounds, we will wait and see what the future holds. But a minute and a half left in this fight.
Yeah, it's kind of an uninspiring performance by either guy. But look, I think Rolly's got to learn some new things. I really do. He's just, he just does the same thing over and over again. And then when you step up to the higher competition, it won't work. And work at this level.
We've seen him. And this on the inside is not exactly like Romero. We've seen Romero also struggle on the inside. Both of them are struggling. It's become a grappling match.
And to believe this is a fighter that gave Tank Davis some good practice.
Oh, of course he did. The first fight. But you know what? To be fair, Gervonta Davis gives everybody the first fighters. I know what you're saying, but come on. He stopped him, knocked him out. No one interested in closing the show in this fight.
There we go. Come on, last round.
Yeah, the referee's even saying, come on, round. The referee, my man Hoyle. I've never heard them actually say that. He's literally encouraging them. Let's see a fight.
10 seconds.
Well, Rolly and his sister were judicas. Maybe in another life, Rolly Romero would have been a mixed martial artist.
Decision time.
In his comeback fight against Manuel Jaimes. And from our vantage point, despite the marks under his eye.
What I want to know is how did Rolly Romero get those marks?
And this kid, come on. Well,
It just was not a great performance by Jaimes. We expected a lot.
One thing we can all agree on is that Rolly's never been in a clean, good fight. I mean, they're always ugly and just messy.
And find the CompuBox totals, Romero ahead in each department. None of them set the world on fire. And again, with Romero, we know what you're going to get. But for Manuel Jaimes, and a wasted opportunity here to make a mark, but really taking a major step up in class. And we will wait for the official decision. Of course, Ismael Salas, he couldn't wait. He had to get to the dressing room to get Erislandy Lara ready. Meanwhile, we're getting ready for our next matchup. Former 168-pound division champ Caleb Plant takes on the undefeated and prohibitive underdog Trevor McCombie. That's coming up next here, PBC on Prime. Pay-per-view from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Mexican Independence Day weekend. And we are ready with the official decision. Here is Hall of Fame ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Take away Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, the judges are in agreement with the unanimous decision. All three judges scored about the same, 99 to 91. All three in favor of the winner, Rolando Rolly Romero.
Yes.
Rolly Romero improves to 10-1 in his hometown of Las Vegas, going the 10-round distance against Manuel Jaimes. Romero improving to 16-2. So, our first fight on the PBC pay-per-view on Prime is in the books, and